Hey everyone, and welcome back to Love Hackers.
And I'm Sophie Tanaka.
I'm Alex Carter, and we're your guides to, all things dating.
That's right.
In today's deep dive, we are going to be talking about something a little bit spicy.
A little bit.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about sexting.
Ooh, exciting.
So, how to use text messages to initiate sex.
It's a good skill to have.
It is a really good skill to have, and the source that we're looking at today is really written from the male perspective.
Okay.
It's basically like a playbook of sorts for guys who are looking to, get things moving in a little bit more of an intimate direction with the lady in their life.
Okay.
But before we get into the specific questions that this source suggests, there's this really interesting point that I wanted to touch on about how for a lot of women, sexting is part of the foreplay.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
So it's not just about the words themselves.
Right.
It's about building anticipation.
Yeah.
It's about creating that slow burn that gets the imagination working.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like think about a really good romance novel.
Exactly.
Where the tension just keeps building and building.
Building and building.
And building
Yeah.
until...
picture. Yes.
The source even name drops 50 Shades of Grey.
Ooh.
Which, I don't know how you feel about that book, but regardless of your opinion,
Sure.
It definitely tapped into this idea
It did.
of using words to
Words are powerful.
create desire.
They are very powerful.
So let's get into some of the specific questions that this source suggests.
Okay, let's start.
I have to say, some of these are pretty bold.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, for example, one of the questions is, what do you think you look sexiest in?
Okay, so at first glance, this might seem like a simple question about style preferences.
Yeah.
Right? But what's interesting is how it goes beyond the superficial. It's inviting the other person to really express what makes them feel confident and desirable.
Totally. And it's not really even about the clothes themselves.
No.
It's about how the clothes make her feel.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a sneaky way to get her thinking about herself
Yes.
in a more sensual light,
I love it.
even if the conversation starts off pretty tame.
Exactly. And you know what else I like about this question?
What?
It encourages self-awareness.
Oh, that's so important.
Which is so important in any relationship.
Huge.
By asking her, what she finds sexy about herself, you're also showing that you're interested in her.
Yeah.
On a deeper level, that you value her self-perception.
So true. And it's also interesting how the source emphasizes the importance of, following up on her answer.
Oh, yeah.
Don't just stop at, oh, you look great in that dress.
Yeah.
Ask her why.
Exactly.
Why does that make you feel sexy?
Why?
That's
a good question.
It's about really understanding what makes her feel good.
It shows you're engaged and that you're listening.
Exactly.
And it opens up, this deeper conversation about what makes her tick, what makes her feel good about herself.
Okay, you ready for one that's a little more adventurous? Okay, this one asks, have you ever had a sexual encounter while in a public place?
Okay, so this one definitely ramps up the heat a little bit.
Yeah.
And, it's clearly designed to gauge a woman's comfort level.
Right.
With risk-taking and pushing boundaries. But, even if the answer is no, it can still be a way to explore fantasies and desires in a safe space.
And I think the big takeaway here is what the source says about being non-judgmental.
Yes.
Regardless of her answer.
100%.
It explicitly warns against being a prude.
Yeah.
Or slut-shaming.
Right.
Which would just totally kill the vibe.
Completely.
You've got to create a space where she feels comfortable.
Absolutely. It's about making her feel safe to share.
Yeah.
Even if her experiences are, a little bit wild.
Totally. And remember, even if she hasn't actually had public sex, she might still enjoy fantasizing about it.
That's true.
So this next one's a little more playful.
Okay.
It says, you wake up tomorrow as a man.
Okay.
What dirty things do you do all day?
I love this question. Right.
It's so imaginative.
It is.
And it invites her to explore her desires from a different perspective.
Totally.
It's a way to get her thinking about what she finds attractive and exciting in a man.
Yeah.
Without directly revealing her own fantasies.
It's like a fun little thought experiment.
It is.
That can lead to some really interesting insights.
For sure.
Plus, it can be a great way to just diffuse any tension if she's teasing you about men being obsessed with sex.
Oh, totally. Flip the script.
Right.
Encourage her to step into those shoes for a moment.
Okay, so this next question is getting into more explicitly sexual territory.
Okay.
It says, if you had X-ray vision, what part of a man's body would you look at first?
Now, this one is definitely designed to see how comfortable she is talking about the male body in a sexual way.
Yeah.
It's playful.
Yeah.
It's suggestive, but it's important to make sure that she's receptive to this kind of humor.
Yeah, the source even suggests, like, teasing her a bit if she tries to avoid the question or give, like, a non-sexual answer.
But I think the underlying point here is valid.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging the elephant in the room.
Right.
And creating a space where you can both be open and honest about your desires.
I like that. And, it's also about not taking things too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Even if she doesn't give a completely explicit answer, you can learn a lot from her reaction.
Oh, totally.
Does she blush? Does she laugh?
Yeah, does she try to change the subject?
Exactly. Those cues can tell you a lot about her comfort level.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
The source suggests playing a game of Have You Ever?
Oh, fun.
As a way to get to know someone's sexual history and preferences.
I like it.
In a fun, lighthearted way.
Yeah.
It lists a bunch of potential questions like, have you ever had a threesome?
Okay.
Have you ever hooked up with a girl?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had sex in a pool?
Okay.
And again, it's not just about the specific answers.
Right.
It's about how she responds to the questions.
Is she open? Is she honest? Is she playful? Is she flirty?
That's exactly it.
Is she shy? Is she reserved?
Right. All of these cues can give you really valuable insights
Totally.
into her personality and sexual style.
Yeah, and the source stresses the importance of pacing yourself.
Yes.
With these questions, like, don't rapid fire them off like an interrogation.
Right.
It's about creating a comfortable and engaging conversation.
This next one is interesting.
Okay.
It's almost a compliment disguised as a question.
I'm intrigued.
It says, why are you making me think of all these thoughts about you?
Oh, I love this one.
It's so cheeky and playful.
It is.
It's a great way to let her know that she's on your mind.
Yes.
In a very appreciative way.
Yes.
Without being overly aggressive.
It's all about creating that playful tension.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping her guessing.
Yeah.
And making her feel desired.
And the source suggests using it to build anticipation before a date.
Oh, I like that.
So get her thinking about what those thoughts might be.
Right.
Okay, let's keep this momentum going.
Okay.
The next question is a classic.
What is it?
What's your favorite part of a man's body?
Yes, the tried and true conversation starter.
It's a great way to just get a sense of her physical preferences.
Yeah.
And it can lead to some fun and flirty banter.
For sure. But remember, the goal isn't to become her ideal man overnight.
No.
It's about understanding what she finds attractive and using that knowledge to build a connection.
And the source emphasizes the importance of not taking yourself too seriously.
Ah, that's good.
If you don't perfectly match her ideal.
Exactly.
Like, make fun of yourself.
Yeah.
Show that you're confident, secure.
Confidence is key.
Right.
And you know what? Don't be afraid to turn the question around.
Ooh, I like that.
Ask her about her favorite part of her own body.
That's great.
It's a great way to boost her confidence and make her feel good.
Okay, this next one's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
What are you wearing right now?
It's a bit cliche, I know.
Yeah.
But it can still be effective.
Yeah.
If used in the right way.
It's a way to kind of transition into a more overtly sexual conversation, especially if she's wearing something revealing.
Yes.
Or suggestive.
Mm-hmm.
But even if she's not, it can be a fun and flirty way to get her thinking about you.
Totally. And the source also suggests asking a related question.
Okay.
Do you ever sleep naked?
Ooh, spicy.
Right. It's a little more subtle,
Mm-hmm.
but it can still be very revealing and lead to some interesting conversations about comfort, intimacy, and self-expression.
All right, this next question is all about setting the stage for some physical touch.
Okay, I like where this is going.
It says, would you rather give me a massage or get one from me?
I love this one.
Playful.
It is.
And suggestive.
And it creates a nice opportunity for physical intimacy later on.
The source suggests using it as a response if she's complaining about being stressed or overworked.
Oh, that's good.
As a way to kind of flip a negative conversation into a positive, flirty one.
Don't forget to be descriptive.
Yes.
Paint a picture with your words.
I love that.
Make her imagine what it would feel like to be touched by you.
Okay, we're getting close to the end of this first batch of questions.
Okay.
This next one is pretty direct.
Yeah, okay.
What's your favorite position?
All right, now we're definitely getting into more explicit territory.
We are.
This is only appropriate if you've already established a certain level of comfort and trust.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's not just about finding out if you're compatible in the bedroom.
Right.
It could also be a fun way to spark some playful banter.
Totally.
And get to know each other's fantasies better.
For sure. But remember, consent is everything.
Absolutely.
If she's not comfortable answering, respect her boundaries and move on.
Okay, this next question is, well, it's pretty personal.
Let's hear it.
Do you like to touch yourself?
This one is definitely getting into intimate territory.
Yeah.
And it requires a strong connection in a sense that, she's comfortable talking about these kinds of things.
Okay, last but not least for this part of our deep dive.
Okay.
The source suggests asking, do you watch porn?
This can be a bit tricky, right? It's a very personal question.
It is.
And it's important to be respectful of her answer, even if it's not what you were hoping to hear.
You're just trying to gauge her comfort level.
Right.
With talking about sex and see if you have similar tastes.
And it can also be a way to open up a conversation about your own fantasies and preferences.
Yeah.
Leading to a deeper understanding of each other's desires. Welcome back to our deep dive. It's interesting when we think about how technology has changed the way we flirt and connect.
Totally. Like, imagine trying to have these conversations over a rotary phone.
Right.
Texting gives us that buffer, that space to be a little more daring, maybe a little bit more vulnerable than you might be in person.
You have time to think about your response.
Exactly.
Especially if you're, someone who gets tongue-tied in the heat of the moment.
So let's jump back into some of these questions.
Okay.
This next one is pretty iconic. Netflix and chill. I have wine.
Ooh, yes. The infamous Netflix and chill.
Right.
It's become a bit of a cultural phenomenon.
It really has.
Like a code phrase
Totally.
for something a little more intimate.
And the source points out that, like, most people understand exactly what you mean. When you say Netflix and chill,
right,
it's a way to test the waters.
Yes.
Without being overly explicit.
It's a great example of how, even seemingly innocent phrases can take on new meanings in the context of modern dating.
Totally. And speaking of context,
yes,
the source emphasizes timing.
Ooh, timing is everything.
When it comes to sending these kinds of messages,
So important.
mornings and afternoons are usually a no-go.
Yeah, people are busy.
People are busy with work and commitments.
You don't want to be the person sending, a steamy text when they're in the middle of a work presentation.
Right, exactly. The source suggests early evenings
Okay.
as the sweet spot,
Makes sense.
when people are more relaxed.
Right after a long day, people are looking to unwind.
Yeah, and a flirty conversation can be just the thing
Absolutely.
to de-stress.
And while those late night hours might seem tempting,
They do.
remember, not everyone's a night owl.
That's true.
You got to respect someone's schedule and, their preferred communication times.
Speaking of respect,
Yes.
there's another really crucial piece of advice in this source that I wanted to touch on, which is the importance of balancing
Yes.
those spicy, suggestive texts with regular, everyday conversations.
Oh, so important.
Don't just be that person who only reaches out when you want something physical.
Yeah, the source uses the term horn dog to describe that kind of behavior.
Which is not the impression you want to make.
Definitely not.
Even if you are just looking for something casual, you should still show the other person
Right.
that you're interested in them.
That you see them as a person.
As a whole person.
Yeah.
Not just a potential hookup.
Building a genuine connection is about sharing interests, having meaningful conversations, and showing that you care about what's going on in their life.
So sprinkle in those everyday texts.
Yeah.
Ask about their day. Share something interesting you saw or read.
Exactly. Build that rapport, build that trust, and intimacy will flow naturally.
Now let's dive back into the questions.
Okay.
This was pretty intriguing. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Ooh, I like that one. It's open-ended enough that it could lead to a variety of responses.
Right?
Travel stories, personal challenges.
Yeah.
And yes, even sexual adventures.
Gives you a glimpse into their personality.
Yeah.
What they consider exciting, what they consider fulfilling.
It's a great way to spark a deeper conversation, get to know them on a more personal level, and plus it might even reveal some shared interests.
Yeah, or inspire future adventures together.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, this next one's a little bolder. What's your biggest turn on?
All right, getting right to the point.
Yeah.
This is clearly designed to, understand their desires and preferences.
And it's a great opportunity to be playful and flirty.
Oh, for sure. Tease each other. Share your own turn-ons. Create that sense of excitement and anticipation.
But again, consent and comfort are paramount.
Absolutely.
If they seem hesitant or uncomfortable.
Back off. Respect their boundaries.
Okay, this next question's a little more situational.
Okay.
What are you doing later tonight?
This one feels very strategic.
It does. Right?
Like you're gauging their availability, setting the stage.
Potentially.
For a meetup or a more, intimate conversation later on.
It's subtle but effective.
It is. And depending on their response, you can kind of adjust your approach accordingly.
Totally.
If they're busy, you can simply acknowledge it and keep the conversation, light and flirty. But if they're free and receptive, well, that's an opening
Yeah.
to suggest something more engaging.
And the source emphasizes being mindful of their tone
Mm-hmm.
and their energy levels.
Right. If they seem tired or disinterested, don't push it.
Reading those digital cues is just as important as reading body language in person.
Oh, absolutely.
Pay attention to their response times,
Yeah.
their use of emojis,
Mm-hmm.
their overall enthusiasm level.
And remember, sometimes the best approach is simply to be straightforward and honest about your intentions.
If you're feeling a connection
Right?
and you're looking for something more,
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid to say that.
Be confident, be respectful, and most importantly, have fun with it.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive,
We have.
but we're not done yet.
There's more.
There's still plenty to explore in this realm of digital flirting.
Ooh, exciting.
Join us for part 3,
Okay.
where we'll wrap things up with some final thoughts.
Love it.
Welcome back to Love Hackers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been talking about all these spicy sexting questions,
We have.
and now I think it's time to step back and look at the bigger picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this source?
Mm-hmm.
And all this talk about digital flirting really tell us about the state of modern romance.
That's a great question. On the one hand, we have this incredible ability to connect instantly,
Totally.
to explore intimacy and desire in ways that were unimaginable just a few decades ago.
It's like we have this whole new language of flirting at our fingertips.
Right.
And it can be incredibly empowering,
Yeah.
especially for people who might be shy or hesitant in face-to-face situations.
But it's not without its challenges.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Miscommunication is so easy.
When you're relying on text.
Exactly. Tone can be misinterpreted. Signals can get crossed. And it's harder to gauge someone's true feelings or intentions.
That's where all this emphasis on gauging comfort levels comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be so much more attuned to the other person's cues when you're communicating digitally.
Absolutely.
If someone seems hesitant or uncomfortable, you back off.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask directly, like, hey, are you comfortable talking about this?
Exactly.
Or is this moving too fast for you?
And remember, even if someone is comfortable with sexting,
Yeah.
it's still important to balance those, steamy exchanges with regular everyday conversation.
No, so important.
Right.
You don't want to just be that person who only reaches out when you're looking for something physical.
Building a genuine connection requires more than just sexual chemistry.
Exactly. Show that you're interested in them as a person. Ask about their day. Share your own experiences and thoughts.
It's about creating a sense of intimacy and trust that goes beyond the physical.
And the source also highlights the importance of timing.
Timing is everything.
Right. Don't bombard someone with, suggestive messages.
Yeah.
When they're at work or busy with other commitments.
Exactly. Be mindful of their schedule and preferred communication times.
A late-night text might be welcome by some, but intrusive to others.
And, speaking of being intrusive, I think it's important to acknowledge that not everyone is comfortable with sexting.
Absolutely. It's a personal choice.
Right.
And some people simply prefer to keep those kinds of conversations offline.
So if someone isn't responding to your flirty messages, or if they say, hey, I'm not really comfortable with this, respect your boundaries and move on.
You don't need to pressure anyone into doing something that they don't want to do.
Exactly. And, even if someone is receptive to sexting, it's important to be mindful of the content that you're sharing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Avoid sending anything that, could be considered offensive or harassing.
Yeah.
Or that you wouldn't want to be seen by others.
Because once you hit send, you can't always control where that message ends up.
That's true.
So think before you send.
And always prioritize safety and respect.
So where do we go from here?
Well, I think the key takeaway is that, digital flirting can be a powerful tool for connection and intimacy. But it needs to be used responsibly and with respect for the other person's boundaries and comfort levels.
It's all about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Between boldness and respect.
Being playful and flirty without being pushy or disrespectful.
And remember, communication is key.
Always.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, clarify intentions, make sure everyone's on the same page.
So to all you love hackers out there,
Yes.
embrace the possibilities of the digital age. But remember to use your powers wisely.
Be authentic, be respectful, and most importantly, have fun.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of sexting.
We're Alex Carter,
And Sophie Tanaka.
your trusted guides for navigating the ever-evolving world of modern dating. Be sure to subscribe to Love Hackers for more insights and advice, and don't forget to like, comment, and share this episode with your friends. Until next time, happy hacking!